what is up, you fucks? We are back with another edition of the Doom Scroll Cast. And I am your host, Lord Botha. If you don't know anything about the show, this is a show where we talk about pop culture news items, whether that is video games industry, the fucking Hollywood industry, whether that's movie, television, any of that. Sometimes politics too. This is the one place on my channel where I get exclusively political sometimes. If there's big news items in politics that I want to talk about, which we may talk about tonight. I don't know. But after we talk about certain subjects that I have pre-planned out, we do what's called the Doom Scroll, where I just raw dog Twitter. I just bring that bitch up and we just scroll through Twitter. I haven't come across anything too spicy yet that's gotten me in trouble. Funny enough, when you don't interact with all that shit, you don't get a lot of it in your news feed. It's weird how that happens on your main, isn't it? But how are you guys? Hope you guys are having a good night. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the hype button on the VOD. Always helps. Appreciate you guys coming in and watching on the VOD. I got bullshit in my mouth already. I don't know where that's from, but we're keeping on. Like I said, hope you guys are having a good night and all that. I see Jack of all casuals is already in the chat. How are you doing, man? And yes, thank you for the congratulations. Yes, Google about to drop the nastiest. Google? I'm not aware. You'll have to fill me in. But yes, I was on a week hiatus or so for the birth of my second child. My second daughter was born. She is happy. She is healthy. Everything is perfectly normal. 10 fingers, 10 toes. Really weird. She was born with natal teeth. It's a really, really weird, like, rare thing where, like, babies are born with a little, like, not like a whole set of teeth, because that would be really fucking weird and, like, impossible, but they're born with, like, just a few teeth. Typically, like, the two, like, front, bottom, or top teeth, which my daughter was born with the two bottom teeth in the front. And it's typically because, like, they're like gnawing on their umbilical cord when they're in there. It's really weird. And it's a weird, really, like, rare thing to happen. And hospitals, like, see it maybe, I don't know, a couple times a year at the most. But while my daughter was born, she was the third baby born that week with natal teeth. And they can't explain it. They have no idea what's going on. But other than that, she's doing fine. She eats like a horse. If she eats milk the same, if she eats real food the same way she eats milk, I am fucked financially. Because my firstborn daughter already scarfs down food like there's no tomorrow. Like every meal is her last. By the way, doesn't gain a single pound. She's been like 30 some odd pounds, like, until now. Like, she's can't get her to gain any weight. She's slender as can be. And if my second daughter is like that too, I don't know what I'm gonna do. She's extra hungry and ready to eat. Yeah. She's probably gonna end up like my first daughter too, where, like, my first daughter ended up weaning off of milk earlier than my wife and I expected, because she just wanted food. Like, we would be sitting there at the dinner table, and she would sit next to my wife in her little baby chair, and she would literally reach over. She would reach over and try to grab my wife's spoon and just, like, shovel it into her mouth. Or, like, she would see us eating. My my favorite story, one of my favorite stories to tell, one of my best memories of my daughter being an infant is I had a bag of chips, right? I had a bag of chips, like sour cream and onion chips, that I was eating on the couch because I'm a fatty. And I put it in the corner of the couch, right? And she was sitting kind of like on the floor. She could crawl at this time, but she couldn't like climb on things. Um, she couldn't reach these chips for certain. But I had made a mistake because the bag of chips were on a blanket on the couch in the corner, and she could reach the blanket. So she grabbed the blanket and she used it to pull the chips down to her. And I go upstairs to the bedroom to do something, I don't even remember what. And I come back down, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes later, and she's literally sitting there with the chips just dumped out onto the floor. And she's grabbing chips by the fistful and shoveling them into her face. Just rah, 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 rah. Grossly so. And she's just ready, man. Ever since then, she's just real food. We didn't do baby food. We didn't do none of that shit. We just went straight from milk to real food. Little foods and things she can handle, of course. But just that to like milk to like real food, and that's it. Cheese is your answer, high in calories. Yes, and bread, which a good thing is my daughter fucking loves carbs. My eldest daughter. She puts away bread like nobody's business. I can literally buy a loaf of French bread, bake that shit to get it all toasty and stuff, and like I could just put butter on that and feed it to her as a snack like all day long. And she'll just easily. But anyway, beyond the dietary habits of my children, we also have several topics we want to talk about today. We got the Odyssey. Odyssey predictions. There's an interesting pattern with the Odyssey that I think people did not really pick up on in terms of the trailers, right? And we're going to explore where I think that actually is going to go in terms of box office. We're going to talk about Moana got released. I put a video out about Moana earlier today, but we're going to talk about it again. Moana is basically, it's dead in the water at the box office. And this is kind of a thing everybody expected already. And we're also going to talk about Obsidian, because Obsidian they've gotten chosen to put out a new Fallout game by Xbox. And I feel like the only people that want Obsidian to make a Fallout game at this point that have any kind of half a brain anymore is Xbox. Like, they are the only, like, fans of New Vegas don't want Obsidian to make a Fallout game. Obsidian doesn't want to make a Fallout game. Bethesda doesn't want Obsidian to make a Fallout game. We know that for damn sure. But we're gonna explore that subject as well. But let's start with something that let's start with the thing that I already made a video about. Kind of get that out of the way, if you've seen it. But perhaps you have not, and I'll bring that up here just a second. I have prepared absolutely nothing tonight. We are flying by the seat of our pants. This is gonna be a heavy doom scroll cast, by the way. The topics are not going to last long tonight. I'm flying by the seat of my pants more than usual tonight. So let's see here. Come on, open up. All right, there we go. Todd Howard, the short key, must be very upset. He has to be. It has to be. He has to be so angry, dude. You know what's? Here's the thing. Real quickly on this, you may have noticed that they said that Bethesda like is gonna in the Xbox like wire and all that bullshit, all the layoff talk and all that. They said they're going to shift Bethesda over into focusing on the main franchises, right? Which meant, and they said specifically here, they said Elder Scrolls, and they said Elder Scrolls and Fallout, which weirdly enough, they're not making the next Fallout game. So, guess they don't have to worry about that end. But, if you have a jeweler's eye, you might have realized that one of the main franchises they didn't mention for Bethesda that they thought was going to be a main franchise for Bethesda going forward was Starfield. That's right. Starfield as a franchise is dead.
Exposed, 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 exposed. You're exposed.
It's done.
You're exposed.
It's over.
You are exposed.
Gonzo.
Exposed, 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 exposed.
No more
exposed.
Starfield.
You are...
You know the thing about Starfield is Starfield really is, it really was an experiment of what is the minimal amount of work we can do as a studio that has a massive modding community in which we can rely on the modding community to basically make our game for us. What is the most boring, bare bones, like, thing we can create and put out, and the modders will still put flesh on it, will basically make our game for us? And that was Starfield. And when it turns out was there is a breaking point. There is a point where modders go, there's no point to this. We're not going to make our own game using your fucking bones on a shitty engine from like the 90s, all right? And there is still some mods out there. The Star Wars mod, I hear, is absolutely phenomenal. Like the complete conversion mod. Here's the problem. There are games out there with conversion mods, complete conversion mods. Crusader Kings... I'm going to talk about strategy games here for a second. So I know the niche community, the niche amount of people that will see this, an even smaller amount will understand what I'm talking about. But Crusader Kings has a very well-known, like, full conversion mod. Crusader Kings 2 and Crusader Kings 3 both have this same conversion mod because it was so popular, which is the Game of Thrones conversion mod. It literally takes Game of Thrones, fully converts it into the Song of Ice and Fire, like Westeros world. And they've added on to it in the past decade that Crusader Kings 3 has been out. It's gotten very, very involved. And it's really good. People love it. People love the Crusader Kings 2 mod. But Crusader Kings does not need the Game of Thrones mod to be absolutely fucking phenomenal as a franchise and as a game. The mod is good. I want to play the mod. But also, I just really enjoy playing the actual game. Unmodded. That's not true. Unmodded, not using the Game of Thrones mod. I mod the shit out of Crusader Kings. But not having the total conversion mod. No Man's Sky has had more updates and interactions than Starfield, all for free. I might add, autism activated. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: No Man's Sky is one of those cautionary tales, right? Of No Man's Sky is one of those things where it almost, hear me out. No Man's Sky is one of those things that is a novelty that I put in the category of things like Guardians of the Galaxy in movies, or Game of Thrones in TV shows, or Obsession and Backrooms right now in movies as well, where they are phenomenal things and deserve to be celebrated and loved, and they really were great for what they were and something different, but also they started a trend that has absolutely destroyed the industry that they are in. Because No Man's Sky launched and it was fucking terrible. And I mean, fuck it. We'll just do Fallout now because I didn't mean to start with Fallout, but we're going to start with Fallout. No Man's Sky started out when it launched as absolute dog shit. As a lot of, it's basically kind of like Cyberpunk. It was a bunch of fucking promises that we weren't delivered on. And the thing is that the devs actually listened to feedback, took that as legitimate criticism, decided to put their head down, get to work hard. Maybe their dicks were hard while they were doing it too. But I meant like actual hard work, hard labor. But they put out good updates and they continuously updated their game, where the launch game is nothing compared to what it is now. Completely overhauled, completely different. And it's become a roaring success. The problem is that every game, every developer, every publisher saw that and said, hey, if we release shitty games that are broken or people don't like, we can just continue working on them after they launch and it will get to the point where people like it. And that's not a way the business should be ran. You wouldn't go to a restaurant and order something and they gave it to you and it was dog shit and the chefs knew it was dog shit and be okay with the chefs being like, well, yeah, we gave you the sandwich in an early access state, basically, but we will continue working on it until it is complete, without telling you that it's actually early access, by the way. Because let's be honest, a lot of these games that are full releases, right, are actually early access. But they don't want to call themselves early access. Because they're big publishers and they're big developers. Triple A studios. Quadruple A studios. I always find it funny that the quadruple A studio, the first studio to call itself a quadruple A studio, Ubisoft, they just released Black Flag Resynced, which is supposed to be their big game that financially fucking saves their company this year. Which is kind of wild to think about. The game that's supposed to save them financially this year is a remake of a game they made years ago. They've taken that game that's nowhere near the style of games in that franchise that they make now, and they've made that game into that style. So, like, am I taking crazy pills here? Because it used to be, why would you take something we liked? And I get the graphical upgrades and all that, but why would you take something that we liked and made it something like something now that is less popular? I don't get it. But I always like that Bethesda is Ubisoft is celebrating the success of Black Flag Resync, the game that's supposed to save them financially this year, by announcing more layoffs at the company. Fuck it, we'll bring this story up. We'll bring this story up right here. We've been on my face for too long anyway. Cause here. Alright. I'll just leave all my tabs up. Fuck it. But yeah. Oh, shit. What is this? From GamesIndustry.biz. Layoffs begin at Ubisoft Barcelona following Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync launch. There will not be further mandates for Ubisoft Barcelona, despite the team focusing on proposing a new Assassin's Creed project, says affected employee. Yeah, we all know what the next Assassin's Creed project I think is supposed to be, by the way, which is Hex. And Hex is... I don't think they fucking know what Hex is at this point. Because Assassin's Creed Hex was supposed to be like ultra feminist, like leftist, like witches in like medieval like Germany or something. And then I thought it was switched to like the colonies or colonial era, but now like it's gonna be something completely different. I don't know what it is. I don't think they know. And it's being retooled and reworked, and I think completely redone at least once by now. And this is the state of Ubisoft right here. Is we're getting layoffs at the same time we're having a successful game launch. And this is why the hiring practices in this industry are out of control. Like, indie game developers have it right. What indie game developers do is they hire, like, it's just a small set of actual devs that work at the company. Then they hire contract workers to do certain parts of the game, and that's it. They fulfill the contract and they're done. But these big publishers, for some reason, decide to hire a bunch of developers as full-time staff, and then when the project's over, they fire them anyway. So you're doing the same exact fucking thing. It's just you're laying out a bunch of promises that you can't actually fulfill. So I don't get what we're doing here. Just hire contractors. It's just stupid, man. And this all started with like a rant on Bethesda, right? Because if you didn't know, let me bring it up here. Let's see here. If I type in Obsidian, it's just gonna bring it up. I don't even have it bookmarked. Fuck it, we'll go up discussing film because they were the first one to show up. All right, so discussing film, right? Discussing film reports here. A new Fallout game is moving forward at Obsidian. The game's development is being led by Fallout New Vegas director Josh Sawyer. So yes, you guys might remember, right? Obsidian were focused full steam ahead on Avowed, right? Which I don't even let's type it in here. Avowed. Let's see if there's any Avowed news. Obsidian Entertainment cancels planned Avowed sequel and pivots to new Fallout title led by New Vegas director Josh Sawyer. That's Shinobi 602. Yeah, and that's according to Bloomberg. New Bloomberg news article. So, Obsidian, right? And this is not the Obsidian you knew that made Fallout New Vegas, that made Knights of the Old Republic 2. the goated Obsidian that had good writers, that had good, dependable developers. Even though I know it's Josh Sawyer and they're like, he was director of Fallout New Vegas. Okay. But that was years ago. People change. Times change. So even bringing him back alone doesn't mean shit. This is why, like, even if they brought Casey Hudson back to do, like, Mass Effect, I still wouldn't be convinced that Mass Effect 5 would be good. Mostly because, like, Casey Hudson was there when fucking Mass Effect 3 came out with the dog shit ending that it had. Despite that, though, the Mass Effect games are still goated. Hire devs, make games, fire devs, hire new devs to maintain game, make a new game, rinse, repeat. Yeah, it's not a way to run the industry. It's not a way to do business at all. I don't understand why you can't just hire contractors. Just do a contract-based environment. People gotta understand that, like, as the economy is evolving in a world where we are constantly connected, no matter how far you are, like, the Tower of Babel incident that separates all of us, right, is pretty much gone at this point. We are a completely interconnected world society. We still have national borders, national identities, still believe in all of that. But we are highly interconnected when it comes to business. Especially. There is no need for a lot of these businesses, especially product-based businesses, to not work almost purely on contract. Because that way you're always ensuring fresh talent. And if you got good talent, you don't want them to leave, give them a new contract on a new project. It's as simple as that. But as far as this goes, there is a new Fallout game not being done by Bethesda, even though Xbox apparently said that Fallout was supposed to be one of the main series that Bethesda had to focus on. But instead, that's going to be worked on by Obsidian. And this is, again, not the Obsidian of old. This is new Obsidian. This is the Obsidian that made Avowed and made Outer Worlds 1 and 2. Which, Outer Worlds 1 was mid. Outer Worlds 2, I couldn't get past, like, the first planet. Like, maybe halfway through the first planet. Because it was just... One of the things Obsidian has a problem with, and I saw this in Avowed too, Avowed as well, I should say, is that it's okay to have wordy NPCs. It's okay to have rich, thick dialogue, right? Have a lot of dialogue in a conversational game, in a RPG, right? What we can't have is NPCs that prattle on about nothing. That give me extensive explanation and extensive, exposition about things that I don't need to know about. That waste my time. That if I really wanted to, I could go to a lore page and just read the lore. Or it could be explained to me in passing by an NPC in a couple lines. BioWare used to be really good at this, by the way. It kind of still is. BioWare was really good at building worlds, building narratives, without having NPCs that talk your fucking ear off. Bethesda has this problem too, by the way. One of the main problems with Bethesda and, like, Starfield is that the dialogue... First off, the characters look fucking dead-faced and emotionless. Mostly because they're limited by the engine that Bethesda runs on. And that kind of just frozen face still, like, character during the engine just doesn't work anymore in modern gaming. People expect more. It just doesn't work if you're going to do big AAA games that are supposed to appeal to a modern audience. Not the modern audience, but a modern general audience is what I'm talking about. And that, coupled with extremely wordy dialogue, that a lot of it is unnecessary, that's what makes the game feel boring. A lot of that is what makes the game feel boring. That's what gives you that sense of, oh my god, get to the fucking point. Which is also probably what a lot of people think when they listen to me talk about this subject. But I'm going to continue doing it. God damn it. I haven't stopped yet. You can't make me. But yeah. Fallout, it's funny because they canceled plans to make Avowed 2 now. Why you would make Avowed 2 is beyond me. But Avowed 2 was one of those things that was probably greenlit when you had 14 layers of management at Xbox. That's how retarded the company was being ran. So yeah, why not make Avowed 2 for an ungodly amount of money to be sold to like 10 people? I mean, obviously, right? I mean, why wouldn't we? It makes sense. You can't make me do shit. My daughter doesn't have control over me. My daughter does not have control over me. Neither of my daughters. The little one, the baby, might have a little control over me. And if I say no, my wife is going to have control over me. That's for damn sure. But, it's very interesting because, and you got to know that this pisses off Todd Howard to no end. You got to know, like, the conversation, I think the conversation went like this. I think the conversation between Todd Howard and Asha Sharma went like, really? You're going to give Fallout, my Fallout, I own it, it's mine. You're going to give that to Obsidian again? Obsidian, whose last games that they churned out was Avowed and Outer Space 2? Or Outer Worlds 2? And Asha was probably like, hey, at least they turned out 2 games. Where's Elder Scrolls 6, Todd? Where is it? No more excuses. We're never getting Elder Scrolls 6, by the way. It's not happening. I'll be 40 by the time Elder Scrolls 6 drops. Todd Howard will retire before Elder Scrolls 6 drops. Who's laughing now? Him. After he retires and the game still isn't fucking out yet. But if you think this game, if you think the next Fallout game is going to be some masterpiece because a company that used to be a good game company now that is now trash is making it, you are, there's no gentle way to put it, you are retarded. Because they are not going to, I have zero faith that Obsidian's Fallout game is going to be very good. What you're going to get is a Fallout game that feels very much like Outer Worlds. That's probably where we're going to, and it would not be surprising that we get very much so hit over the head with the capitalism bad motif. Capitalism bad. By the way, if you want a good Fallout game recently that feels like a New Vegas style like Fallout game, go play Atomfall. Because that's basically what it is. Microsoft, yeah, I like to lose money while my developers keep burning it like it's fuel. Yeah, that's the thing, right? A lot of these dog shit projects, I think, were just greenlit because nobody knew what the fuck was going on because it was buried in so much bureaucracy that they didn't know what projects were actually moving forward. And I think at the end, Phil Spencer had lost all motivation, and he was just a guy who was there, who's like, as long as the checks keep coming, I don't give a fuck. And I think Sarah Bond was jaded and kind of was like, my vision of the company and what I want it to be is never going to be realized, and it's never going to be allowed to happen. So I just really don't give a shit anymore. And I think there was really just a kind of a toxic environment of people just letting things run rampant and the weeds grow over because they had lost their passion, lost their drive to be successful and compete in the market. So much so that PlayStation literally can just commit essentially a highway robbery on the gaming community and still be still be top, still be number one in the industry. It's fucking dumb. Atomic Heart plays more like BioShock than Fallout, but the inspiration's there. I saw Lethal play Atomic Heart. It was like sort of cheesy from what I saw too. It looked fun. It wasn't really my pace, my kind of thing from what I saw of it. Because everything I've seen of like BioShock and stuff like that, those kinds of styles of games, I think it's because like I didn't play them when I was young. If I played them when I was like a teenager or whatever, I probably could be into that but like now. But because I didn't play them when I was young, I didn't get adjusted to the feel of that like style of gameplay. I don't think that like it's something that I could adopt now. Like it's just not for me. The same thing goes with like Souls likes, right? I think I played Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls once, and I died like 10 times in the first like section of the game. Like the first like tutorial section of the game. And I was just like, you know what? I want my video game experience to be a little bit more relaxing than this. So yeah, I'm not feeling this one. I moved on. Souls games are just not for me. I can admit it. I'll still go in the chat of streamers that are streaming Souls games, like Fear the Beardo, and make fun of them for being bad at the game. Why? Because he's playing it. I can admit that I'm bad. I can admit that I don't like it. I don't care. I'll still make fun of you, though. But yeah, I don't have any hope for Obsidian and the new Vegas game or the new Fallout game that's coming from them. Also, if it's a continuation of New Vegas, I don't really know how that's going to happen because like the show is supposed to be interwoven with the games and like they've completely fucked this timeline. So, yeah, I don't know. But let's go to the next thing here. All right. So this is what I wanted to actually talk about first, but we're going to talk about it now. So if you didn't know, Moana released this weekend. And the box office numbers are in, and they're not good. From Deadline here, Moana capsizes with 95 million worldwide opening, and Dwayne Johnson's pick poised to lose 100 to 125 million dollars. Yeah, this is bad. By the way, this is like a conservative estimate of what the like movie could lose. Like if the marketing is as bad as it's rumored to be, we could be looking more like $200 million. That's
Hey yo, what the fuck?
that's panic mode. Panic time at Disney. Honestly, Disney needs to get out of the live action game, okay? They had one live action hit that is an adaptation of a previous Disney like animated film in the past like I think 10 years. And that's Lilo and Stitch. And that is an aberration, not the rule. Let's see here. TV shows from the Silver Timeline. Maybe it's only Salvation. Honestly, they could retcon the Fallout TV show. They could retcon the fucking timeline mistake that's written on the whiteboard however they want to do. Just be like, oh, some dumbass wrote that timeline, whatever. It could be completely changed. Whoever said The Rock will be a superstar are eating so much shit right now. Disney, you know what we need. A Moana live action. So, a couple things. I think The Rock could have been a legitimate, like, star. But The Rock had to be a legitimate star the way, like, Bruce Willis was a star. What is Bruce Willis known for? Bruce Willis is known for his action films. He's an action star. Doesn't have a ton of lines, ton of dialogue. Maybe a few witty one-liners back and forth with him and Samuel L. Jackson in Die Hard with a Vengeance. My personal favorite Die Hard movie, by the way. But he could have been like that. The problem with Dwayne Johnson is he wanted to be more than that. He wanted to be more than the guy from The Rundown, the guy from Walking Tall. He wanted to be like a serious actor, a serious movie star. He wanted to be the guy in Hollywood. And he has a massive ego on him. That's why he has the contract. That's why the thing in his contract where he can't lose a fight, right? Which is some of the dumbest shit to put in an acting contract whatsoever. But he said, hold on just a second here. Okay. Sorry, I got like something stuck in my teeth. It's weird. Anyway, not to go full DSP on you, but he wanted to be that kind of movie star. And he couldn't admit that he was just an action star. He was just an action guy. And going into these kinds of roles, I think, has really hurt him and the longevity of his career. And I think trying to do forays in like comedy and stuff like that, he doesn't really have good comedic timing. Like, it's just, I don't know. It reminds me a little bit of like Arnold, right? Where Arnold was taking, like, Arnold had way more hits and way more classics, to be fair. But Arnold would also take a lot of movies that conceptually actually were really good ideas for movies. But because it was Arnold in them, were done really poorly. Like, some of the films that like Arnold did could have been all-timers. Like, Total Recall is an excellent, like, idea for a movie. The Running Man is an excellent idea for a movie. But neither of them were successful as they could have been because Arnold. By the way, the remakes of them also not that great because they're associated so much with Arnold, because despite the fact that they're not really great movies, they are classic movies. Because there are some movies that are not great, that are classics. Trust me. Rock is a chameleon. He dresses the way the wind is blowing. Movie-wise, politically, socially. Yeah. He's the kind of guy that I think Dwayne Johnson is obsessed with legacy. He's obsessed with how he will be remembered. And guys, there are certain guys who they become so obsessed with legacy and how they are remembered and being popular and being remembered as somebody who was great that they become afraid to make a decision. They become afraid to have a personality. They become afraid to be controversial or be that guy. And I think that's kind of where, like, Dwayne Johnson, once he stopped being The Rock in wrestling and started being taken in by Hollywood, I think that, like, skyrocketed that feeling. He's afraid to tarnish his legacy by taking in an opinion. Scary. But as far as the movie is concerned, the live-action Moana movie, we all know why this movie was going to fail. We knew this movie was going to fail because Moana's barely 10 years old. The first Moana movie came out in 2016. The second one came out 2 years ago in 2024. And I gotta be honest with you, looking that up, I was kind of shocked because it feels like it hasn't even been that long. It feels like that's a brand new movie, to be honest. And it was supposed to be a TV show that they turned into a movie. So, the problem with this is that you have people who were kids when Moana came out, right? 5, 10 years old, 12 years old, whatever. That are now, when the live action comes out, somewhere between 15 and 21, maybe. So they're not old enough. Not enough time has passed enough for them to build any kind of nostalgia off the franchise. And they don't have kids. So they have no desire, really. Hopefully most of them don't have kids in that generation yet. So they don't have a desire to take their kids to see a Moana movie. So, like, what's the point? It's literally a worse looking version of the animated film. And listen, it's a lot of... If it was filmed right and looked great and didn't have the what looks to be AI slop filter look to it, where they literally just took the film and threw it into an AI and said, make it photorealistic. If it didn't have that and it just looked okay, it still wouldn't look as good as it still wouldn't be a draw versus the animated, right? The colors would still be muted. It still wouldn't look as fantastical, which the thing about Moana is part of the reason why it works is it's a fantastical, like, legend, a fantastical story that takes place basically in bottles on islands. And the ship is basically an island where the characters interact. That's it. This reminds me of Sony making The Last of Us when The Last of Us 2 was barely... yeah, so, like, that's exactly what's... And I said this in my video. This is the game... Like, the gaming equivalent of this is is like The Last of Us 2, like, remake or remaster. Like, it's barely been out. And they're remaking it. Right? This movie, like, this franchise, the first movie in this franchise has barely been around. And they're remaking a live action They're remaking it in live action. And Dwayne Johnson in the film, since we were talking about him earlier, is totally off. Like Maui, right? The character in the actual like animated movie. He's expressive. He's flamboyant. He's machismo. And The Rock, the way he like speaks and the way he sings songs and sort of carries himself tonally in that like role in the animation, he does it fairly passing and believable, right? You feel the emotion from him. You feel the sort of jovialness, the sort of machismo and flamboyant personality. The problem with the live action is he gives the same kind of performance, but he's just stone-faced. And I know that there's a joke in there about me saying that The Rock is stone-faced. But the alternative is to say that like he gives a wooden performance, which leads into a whole other realm of jokes.
Why are you gay?
But I don't know why he gives such a stoic-like performance as Maui in the live action when he was so lively in the animation. And the animation reflects that as well. And is expressive of that. I think it might have to do with the fact that, like, in an interview, like, Dwayne Johnson stated that the character Maui and how he presents himself in the live action is based off of his grandfather, who was a tribal chief. And I think his grandfather was more like a stoic man's man leader who didn't show a lot of emotion and all that. So he tries to be like that. The problem is that that's not the character of Maui. It's weird. I don't quite understand why you would want to make this film, and even making this film, it was done poorly. Like, and it is a one-for-one shot for shot of the animation, basically. Which people have been clamoring for. People don't like it when you stray so far from the source material. Why did Mulan get absolutely murdered in the press and the box office, right? Is because Mulan, the live action movie, did not feel, look, or even any way resembled the animated movie. So people went into live action Mulan being like, what the fuck is this? Where the fuck is Mushu? And Disney took away that, okay, so what you guys really want is actually one-for-one shots, shot-for-shot, like, adaptations of the animation. So we're going to give you that. And they gave us that. The problem is that, yes, we want one-for-one, but also, it can't look like ass, which this does. And you got to give us a little more depth. Not completely derail the story, change things, but a little more depth of the characters. Show a little bit more. Maybe give us the scene. Give us a little more depth of the scene of Maui stealing the heart of Te Fiti. Like, I don't know. It's just wild to me. But we all knew that this movie, like, this is a movie that the trailer got massively ratioed. Nobody wanted this. It was very clear that nobody wanted this. Disney, I guess, thought that they could make this and come hot off the heels of the $1 billion they made off of Moana 2 and thought this was going to be a success. But no, this was not a success. Like I said, live action game, Disney should maybe think of backing off of it. Because outside of the problems that Marvel has had, where they're barely breaking even, let alone making a profit on pretty much all Marvel projects that don't have Spider-Man in the title. Not only that, outside of that, Disney had a massive flop in their other main franchise, right? Star Wars, with Mandalorian and Grogu, that ended, I think, at like $340 million. Absolutely fucking embarrassing. Not making its money back whatsoever. And now they have another embarrassment in Moana. Animation, by the way, they're doing okay in. Like I said, $1 billion for Moana. And I think like Toy Story 5, and we can have all the conversations about Toy Story 5, really? Like, how much longer can this go on? Especially when the actors are getting into their, 70s, 80s. How much longer can this go on? But that movie is supposed to make like, I think it was like 800, it was like 850, 890 something million dollars or something like that. It's gonna make close to $1 billion or just over $1 billion. Like, I don't know if it will get there because it's been in theaters like a month already, but it might. So we'll see. Yeah, but not anything that's surprising here with this bomb. Honestly, Hollywood has kind of had a down year in total at the box office because, like, I mean, Masters of the Universe, massive flop for Amazon. There's not a lot of hope, I would say, is the bigger thing. Because, I mean, Mortal Kombat was here today, gone tomorrow, vanished like a fucking fart in the wind after it came out. I still hold on to the fact that that movie didn't do well for several reasons. One, it didn't appeal to fans of the game enough, and didn't give us hot Katara and things like that. Old school Mortal Kombat dress characters. And fucking Carl Urban is way too old to play Johnny Cage. You want a Johnny Cage? Go out and get fucking Zac Efron. He's roughly the right age, if not still a little bit too old to play Johnny Cage, but at least closer. He's capable of the right attitude. He has the right look. You should have just gone out and gotten him. And he probably would be cheaper than Carl Urban right now. Because last thing I saw Zac Efron doing was fucking romantic comedies with Nicole Kidman on Netflix. So, yeah. That ended up doing terribly. You have Obsession and Backrooms coming out, which are major successes, right? Something we should celebrate. Something we should celebrate in the box office, right? In the Hollywood industry. But just like I was saying, like, you have sort of these inflection points and bad lessons that were taken away with, like, what was it? In the gaming industry, No Man's Sky, right? I think Obsession and Backrooms are going to be that as well, especially Obsession. Because these are basically, these two films, which they are successful because they are earnest stories being told by earnest directors who want to just entertain the people that they are making the movie for. The fact that they are horror movies is kind of irrelevant. But the thing that Hollywood is going to take away from all this is not the actual good message that we should make films that are earnest and tell a story that's, simple and gets to the point, doesn't waste people's time, and has authenticity and wants to actually entertain the people, that is not full of agenda bullshit as well, politically and socially. And Hollywood is going to ignore that. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to take away the message, oh, people like horror films. know that's what they're going to do. That's the message they're going to take away. They're going to be like, oh, people like horror movies. So let's spam the box office with low-budget horror films for the next 2 years. And there's already proof of this. Let me pull it up here. Let's see here. Let's just go to discussing film, because discussing film had a lot of them. Let's see here. Discussing film plays a lot of the Blue Beetle stuff that nobody gives a fuck about. I have to go back here. So like here. First look at Below, a new thriller series starring Josh Hartnett and Charlie Heaton. The series follows a fisherman who fights to protect his community when a sea creature terrorizes the remote town. So it's a monster horror film. Or, let's go on, because there's more. Also from Netflix. Trailer for The Whisper Man. Whatever the fuck that is. Starring Adam Scott and Robert De Niro. The thriller follows a man and his father for help from his son after he's abducted. Soon they discover a connection to an old serial killer case. Yeah. Let's see here. There's a prequel to the Conjuring movie that's being made. Let's see here. There's the Friday the 13th bullshit is being made. The prequel to that. The point is that a movie about a cartoon cat is in development. Sony Pictures. So yeah, clearly supposed to be a horror film here. The point is that what they've taken away from this is that people want low-budget horror films. And they're going to be churning out low-budget horror films coming up. Yeah. So expect to see that spammed over the next 2 years by Hollywood as low-budget horror films. DCU, absolute garbage, probably will be ended by after Man of Tomorrow. MCU is on its last leg with fucking Doomsday, which I think is going to underperform, by the way. And I think that'll be probably the end of superheroes. Like, firmly the dot on the exclamation point end of superheroes as like franchise material. And there's not a whole lot to be excited for. You have the Odyssey that's going to come out, but I would be surprised if the Odyssey crosses $1 billion. I have a lot of normie friends, a lot of normie co-workers. None of them give a fuck about the Odyssey. Nobody is talking about the Odyssey. A lot of people didn't even know that shit was coming out. People do not give a fuck. The only thing that's sending me to the theater is Obsession, Young Washington, both Godzilla movies later on. That's it. It comes Friday, Nightmare, Halloween remakes again. Yeah. I saw the Nightmare on Elm Street remake too. Yeah. If the Skibbity film makes money, God help it. Listen. It probably is going to make money. I don't know who. People who are into Skibbity Toilet and all that shit are the same people that are like keeping Long John Silver's afloat. Like, who are these people that walk among us? Like, who the fuck is doing that? And yeah, Obsession, like, again, Obsession is it's a masterpiece of what that film was able to accomplish. I hope more people in different genres are able to do that. And I hope more. First off, I just want to say, like, Critical Drinker. I love the Critical Drinker. I love his videos. I love all that. Like, I agree with a lot of his opinions on film. Obviously, pop culture, end of agendas, agenda-based media and all that. His short film that he put out, I don't know how much money he spent on that, but it was a lot. And the fact that this guy, something Curry is his name, right? The YouTuber, makes fucking funny videos with Trevor Wallace and shit just a few years ago. The fact that he's able to create a film that is this profitable and this good and is a feature-length film for $750,000, basically after like advertising probably like $1.5-2 million. I don't know what the fuck we're doing. Because what the Critical Drinker made, what I saw of it, is ass, bro. It was bad. Like Mahler's little gangster short that he made was better than that. But I hope more content creators, more people outside of the industry are able to make more independent shit like that. But the industry itself is always just going to chase trends. That's what they do. Don't forget movie theater shares. I mean, yeah. But still, even if they're taking half the box office from Obsession, like that's still like $200-something million, right? That the dude's walking away with. That's insane. And fucking Indy Navarrete or whatever her name is, her fucking career is going to be made off that movie. It's... I mean... I don't know. Like, there's not a whole lot going forward to, like, much to look forward to. I mean, Young Washington, by the way, Young Washington apparently we're going to get the, like, what is it? Real Life Fake Wizard calls it the Revolution Avengers, basically, where they're going to do a sequel film to Young Washington, which is called 1776, and then they're going to do like a movie about the other founding fathers, and then like it's like a Avengers team up of all the founding fathers and all that, which I guess by the way, I wish they would do a realistic depiction of what the Boston Tea Party looked like, because so the average alcohol consumption in the colonies at that time was 2 pints per capita. So for all the people in the colony, it was saying for all the people in the colony, each person was having a pint or 2 pints a day. And clearly, like children and women who were included in that were not drinking, at least beer or hard whiskey. So that means that those boys were probably drinking a lot more, which if you think about it, the Boston Tea Party sounds like something a bunch of like young, drunk white dudes would think of doing. They're just sitting around getting fucking sloshed and are like, you know what we should do? We should dress up like Indians. Us, the whitest dudes on the planet, dress up like Native Americans, Indians, row over to those boats and dump all the tea in the harbor. That'll fucking show them. As if that was going to be their big win. That was their Grums turning in his petition to the fucking company. At Washington's farewell from the Revolutionary Army, they dried up 2 taverns worth of alcohol. Yeah. Exactly. They put it away. Those boys were drinking, bro. There's nothing fucking else to do. It's one of the few vices they could get. Rachel Zegler wishes she had Indy Neverett's success. Yes, but I think Rachel Zegler is also comfortable with the idea of being like an artiste and basically being an obscure actress on Broadway. That, you know, does Broadway shows and people are basically like, hey, weren't you were in and that's how they know Rachel Zegler. She could have had a good career if she just shut the fuck up. If she had just shut the fuck up, she could have had a good career. A lot of these people, man, they can have good careers and they just learn to shut the fuck up. But that's their problem. They can't learn to shut the fuck up. You don't think there's some stuff I want to tell my boss some days? You don't think there's sometimes I want to talk to customers that I have to help in certain ways? But you know what I have to do? I have to shut the fuck up. Do my job. That's all people ask of you. But I'm going to put it on the BRB screen, and I'm going to deal with this like thing that's stuck in my tooth. It's fucking triggering my autism very hard. I'm about to wig the fuck out. So I'm going to go deal with that, and I'll be right back. became a teeth cleaning mission, also became a diaper situation mission. So, yeah. Anyway. Young Washington is kind of a bright spot, but again, like, also it's made by Angel Studios, and Angel Studios is kinda scumbaggy, if everything said about them is true. So, yeah. There's that. And the Odyssey, like, here's the thing about the Odyssey, and something, like, people are not telling you. And I briefly mentioned this. If we go here, right, this is the first trailer for the Odyssey, right? And as you might not see it here. I might have to zoom in a little closer here. You can see here maybe 618,000 upvotes to 136,000 downvotes. This trailer for the Odyssey, and I'm gonna actually refresh this here because I put this out a long while ago. 83,000 upvotes to 787,000 downvotes. So, like, and there are dudes out there defending this. There are dudes out there being like, oh, well, you know, those dislikes don't count for anything. They don't mean anything. They're just made up. You know, you can't trust that add-on or whatever. Listen, even if this add-on was off by 300,000 downvotes, even if it was wrong by that much, it'd still have over 400,000 to 500,000 downvotes. This is incapable of denying how bad this is, okay? This is pure copium if you don't think this is bad. And I know that they've come out recently and they said, like, oh, well, Elliot Page is only in the movie for, like, 3 scenes in a total of, like, I don't know, like 3 minutes or whatever. And Helen of Troy is supposed to be, like, a disfigured version of Helen of Troy. It's still Helen of Troy. Like, it doesn't, like, none of it matters. Like, trying to explain it away isn't going to make it work. And I think, honestly, like, again, I have a ton of, like, normie friends, a ton of normie coworkers. I live in middle America, slap dab in the middle of America in Missouri. Like, nobody seems to be really caring about this movie. I still think the movie is going to make money. I still think that the Odyssey is probably going to make around, I don't know, 650 million, I think, is the floor for this movie. Which, if it does that, it's an absolute fucking disaster, because that's about its break-even point. But I think the movie's probably going to do maybe like $800 million. Here's what I'll say. I think the Odyssey will make enough money to be controversial. Just enough.
Okay.
And I say that because if the Odyssey makes like $300 million, clearly that's a fucking astronomical failure. If the Odyssey makes, like $1.5 billion, clearly that's a major success. But if the Odyssey makes like 750, 800 million, that's just enough money to be like, is it a success? Is it a failure? How much money was left on the table? Like, they made a profit, but like, is it as much profit as they really could or should make? Like, does this hurt or harm? Like, does this hurt Nolan's reputation? Does this do anything for like DEI being pushed in movies again? Like, it'll be enough money to be controversial, but it won't be enough money to make a definitive point on the movie. which will be annoying as shit. If you don't like nasty, mudslinging, culture warrior based like arguments on the internet and on X especially, stay away. Stay off the internet, stay off of X like the week, maybe 2 weeks that the Odyssey comes out. Because that's all it's going to be. That's all it's going to be. The Odyssey TV miniseries with Ahmed Asante is better. You know what? I've never seen that, but I was intrigued. And I should go back and I should watch. I honestly should watch the really old Odyssey film, which I haven't watched since I was like a kid. And I feel like all kids have watched that film. But like, I need to go back and watch that. There's honestly a lot of old movies I need to go back and watch. I want to show my kids like a lot of old movies as well. Black and whites and musicals and things like that, because I want them ingrained with that culture and have like an idea of what movies were, the evolution of movies, to like understand like why film is bad, like why movies today are bad, or what is a good movie today versus a bad movie, and not just suck up normie slop. It's why like I try to tell people, I try to teach people like you have to, as a conservative, you can't just shut out liberals. And you can't just shut out liberal voices, because you have to understand these people. You have to understand the way they think, the way they perceive you. You have to understand the philosophy behind their way of thinking to truly understand why they are wrong. And if you understand why they are wrong, you can effectively argue against their opinion. By the way, shout out to this Odyssey countdown trailer. They gained a whole 1,000 likes while we've been viewing. Look at that. They're moving up in the world. Now they're 84,000. Look at that. Troy is good enough for the Iliad. Troy is aged very well, because Troy was not wholly embraced when it came out. But that's back when we had like a lot of good like movie content. These days, we don't have that. Which is how we also get things like One Piece. Where One Piece in actuality is not that great. But it came out in a time, especially during the vid, when there was pretty much zero good content. So that elevated its status. Now, when you're the only lemonade stand in the desert, you're gonna make a lot of sales. So yeah. But with all that said, I think we're gonna get into the doom scroll here. So like I said at the beginning of the show, if you're not familiar with the show, what we do towards the end here is we do the doom scroll, where we literally just raw dog X. We just scroll through X live, react to what we see. And I have no fear. Absolutely no. We're not going to see anything sketchy or dirty, I'm sure. Honestly, it hasn't been like the racy stuff that I've been afraid and come across more that like is going to get me in trouble. It's like the violent stuff that I feel is going to get me in trouble. So yeah. Epic Mike says, James Gunn hates Superman. All the rumored superheroes and villains in Man of Tomorrow. Superman, Lex Luthor, Brainiac. Holy fuck. Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, Supergirl, Lobo, Peacemaker, Guy Gardner. Hold on. Who's it? JV 1976. Welcome in. I think we spend too much time talking about a movie, something that lasts 3 hours at most. What other things happen so short and generate so much talk? Plus, they are fantasy. It's like me talking about my dinner, spending 1 month on it. It seems unhealthy mentally. Sup, dude? First time here. Well, welcome in, my man. Here's the thing. I don't. So, they are fantasy, right? But it's the meme, right? It's the like here. Let's see if I can. Let's see. I should be able to find it here. Scroll down. Here, yeah. It's the meme that I post a lot. By the way, not you. I was just saying, Joe. Yeah, it's fine, dude. It's fine. But it's the meme that I use a lot, which is, like, you can accept dragons, elves, and talking trees, but you can't accept a 2021 BMW 5 Series 530i with optional heated seating. Why are you so bigoted? Like, yeah, like, there's a breaking point, right? Like, yes, I can accept these things because in the realm of that world and that fantasy, it makes sense. But when we add modern things that don't fit the rules of the realm and society well, then it becomes sort of, what are we doing here? Because all worlds are based upon rules, right? Even if they're fantasy. And breaking those rules leads to, I mean, like, think of it this way. There's a scene in Parks and Rec, right? Where Leslie Knope buys her boyfriend, Adam Scott's character, a Game of Thrones, the Game of Thrones throne, right? And he goes up on it and he sits on it, and like they're like he basically asks her if she wants to participate in like play acting with him, right? Having fun. And she walks up to him and she's like, our spaceship has like crashed. Our spaceship has crashed, my lord. And he's just like, listen, if you're not going to take this seriously, like it's one of those situations. I just came, so I do not know what the topic is. We were talking about the Odyssey. So we were talking about the Odyssey and how just basically how well we think, or how well I think the movie is going to perform, and some of the controversies around it that's led up to it, some of the successes of other films and stuff comparatively in the past. I play Zelda all the time, knowing 100% that it's fake. But if they threw Link in, yeah, exactly. Thing is defining moments, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You mess with Helena Troy and we all do. Yeah. So, like, here's the thing. And I said this earlier. I think the movie's going to make money. I just don't know if the movie is going to make enough money to not be controversial. It's going to make probably around $800-ish million, I think. If it made like 1.5 billion, that would be a like firm success. There's no way to argue away from that. If it made 300 million, that would be a massive flop for the level of movie and production that was put into it. That it is. But it's not going to do that. It's going to make enough money to be controversial, but not enough to solidify it as one or the other. Now our world is full of dum-dums, so at least gets its money back. I mean, it probably... So, like, I don't think it's going to flop. I think it's going to make money. It's just, I don't think it's going to make a lot of money. And that is what's going to cause the argument. In reality, it should be the next Snow White. I mean, yeah, in reality, like, based upon everything that's being done with the identity politics and that, do I want the movie to succeed? Probably not. It doesn't look, honestly, like it's going to be a good movie, to be honest. Like, and from what I've heard, because I did watch the Chris Gore and Alan Ng, like, out of the theater review of it, it has a lot of the same technical Nolan problems. Audio problems, certain visual elements seem off. But, like, yeah, it's going to be a Nolan movie. And, like, everything, from what I've also seen and heard, everything bad that we've seen in the trailers is everything that's bad in the movie. So if it's just that, I mean, I guess that's okay. But, like, really going 3 hours into a movie for that, I don't know. Sorry. Very important text from the wife dealing with babies. She's telling me about how bad her tum-tum feels right now. Because I needed an update on that. All right. Ram Man here, though. By the way, this is Bane in this movie again? I could not understand. Yeah. But yeah, right now we're doing the doom scroll where I'm literally just live scrolling Twitter and just reacting to stuff. So you're gonna see a potpourri of topics here. I like how the Quartering keeps calling his haters fat losers when he looks like this. I mean, here's the thing: the Quartering, the least fat thing about him is his face. My face is fatter than his, undoubtedly, and he's probably bigger than me. And I'm pretty chubby. Democrats have introduced a bill to ban ultra bright headlights that blind drivers on the road. Real talk, there's probably a lot of bullshit that's included in this that'll make it a should be dead on arrival bill. But if it was just that, I could get behind that. That would have bipartisan support from me. Dude, you handsome?
Why are you gay?
Try to relax your anus.
Thank you. My wife agrees. That's pretty much it. My wife and old ladies. And every girl, and every attractive girl that I also found attractive after I initially met my wife. Because that's how it works. Once you meet the girl that you're like, I'm going to date you and be your boyfriend, then all the girls come out of the woodwork that you like being like, oh yeah, I'm single now. Great. Thanks for that. Where were you months ago? Because why not? Zolo Maraduena, I think that's how you pronounce his name, will reportedly return as Blue Beetle, Man of Tomorrow. I mean, I guess that's, like, here. I didn't see Blue Beetle. Like the vast majority of, like, everyone in the world. But from what I hear, like, Zolo is a decent actor and, like, decent guy. So I don't wish him any, like, ill will. It's just, this is one of those things where it's like, Blue Beetle? Really? This early? Like a B, C-list character? Do we really need to do this? I mean, then again, we're talking about the guy, James Gunn, who still has Peacemaker kicking around with old ass John Cena. John Cena's old now, by the way. We have to acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge John Cena is old the same way that John Cena acknowledged that he is losing his hair. Because I don't know if you all saw that, but John Cena acknowledged that, like, he's getting hair surgery. Like, he showed off his bald ass head. It was pretty awesome. What did fucking Nicholas say? Oh, not buying a PlayStation 6. The moment the PlayStation 6, yeah. Nicola is definitely going to buy. He's definitely going to buy a PlayStation 6. Not gay, Big Brother motivational coach. Thanks, bro. Last time you compliment me, good. I don't like to be complimented. I don't know what to do. I'm like Ricky Bobby with my hands. I don't know what to do when I'm complimented. Okay, I've been insulted my whole life. All right. Grew up in the crucible of high schools. All right, where they made fun of you every single fucking day. I don't know what it's like to be complimented. But hey, even if you were gay, you know, so it's okay. This is a safe space. This is a safe space for all you gamers out there. Dead Space creator and Call of Duty veteran Glenn Schofield announces retirement. Probably for the best. It's really weird because like all the guys that were behind old school Call of Duty are either like dead now or retired. Like that's how old the industry is becoming now. Take the compliment and enjoy it. How about you? No, don't tell me what to do. All you guys trying to ram these compliments down my ass.
Try to relax your anus.
Now you just like me? I mean, maybe. I like being around. I always appreciate people in the chat. Let's see here. Go fuck yourself, the quartering. I guess the quartering, I'm seeing a lot of quartering bullshit in my timeline. So I'm assuming that the quartering said some shit. I think he said some shit about Yellow Flash again and stuff because of the controversy. I know Chrissy Mayer was on Timcast and like I didn't hear anything controversial come out of that. So I guess there nothing was. But like all these dudes are just trying to get farmed for clips from Kino Casino now. Because Kino Casino is going to cover all this shit. They know it is. So they're going to get publicity from Kino Casino's massive audience. That's what it is. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey will be revealed? Weird use of a term. By another movie of the ancient Greek epic this year. Made entirely by AI. I mean, can we not? Can we not have AI Odyssey and instead have cheaper RAM? I would be okay with that. My mic's been turned the wrong fucking way the whole. I probably sounded like I was in a fucking underwater this whole time. Normally I would yell at you guys and I would say, "Why didn't you tell me?" But no, I won't this time. It's not the most egregious fuck up I've had at a stream. I remember when I first started streaming more and I did an entire gaming stream like on silent. Like nobody told me. Yeah, I sound much. Yeah, amazing. Amazing how you sound a lot better when the mic is facing the right fucking way. Hopefully my mic was facing the right way earlier in the show. And I just, when I moved it, because I left to go do something and then I came back. So hopefully it was facing the right way earlier. I hope it was. Jack of all casuals, if you were in the chat, you were here earlier. You can tell me, if I sounded like I was underwater this whole time? Because if so, like, I'm going to, like, I might commit seppuku. Like, guess what I did today because I'm a freaking retard? No, Count Dankula. No, I'm not going to. Fuck you. Shout out to Count Dankula. He puts out good content. Pablo reports The Godfather Part 2. I haven't seen either. That's not surprising. AOC hasn't seen The Godfather. That's not surprising. That's like asking me, hey, have you seen Bridgerton? No. Her personal stylist should be in charge of all her wardrobes for all her films. Yeah, that's honestly, that might be the most attractive I've ever seen Zendaya. I do not find Zendaya attractive. Really, at all. I thought it was a new... You sounded like you were in the hallway. Fuck! AOC looks like a donkey mixed with a fly, or it looks like a mix between a fly and a donkey. I have noticed the donkey part. Zendaya is a 1 out of 10. You're not completely wrong. No. I wouldn't rate her that much higher, but she doesn't do anything for me. She's not a pretty girl. Like I don't know. That's like this right here. This is like a Missouri, like 4 or 5. Where I live, this is like a 4 or 5. So the fact that Hollywood is like, this girl is so beautiful, I don't get it. I don't get it. I've seen hotter girls working at Target. They could probably act just as well. And really, like, how good of an actress is she versus, like, sorry, I got distracted by Greta Thunberg's, like, outrageously hot sister. I don't know how dare you? I don't know what the fuck happened. What the fuck is who approved this? Like, this can't be from the same dude. This can't. Not Greta? No, Greta 2. Greta 2.
Try to relax your anus.
Yeah, I don't know why. This can't be the same dude that nutted into their mom. Like, it's impossible. That's got to be different genetics. Like, Patriot guidelines. Whatever intern is running the White House, like, social media page, they're posting some wild shit constantly. I like to think that it's Barron. I like to think that Barron Trump is in charge of the White House page. What's the number one thing you expect to see in a classic dungeon? I mean, it's got to be like goblins, right? Right? Tender loving care is 19. Oh, is this like this feels like a adult film game. YouTube nuked my video. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Thriller, saying I violated sex and nudity policy. So here it is. Judge for yourself. How about no? I don't have time to sit through an 11-minute video. How about no? Not my sister-in-law. How dare you? I would never hit that now. Everything is real in this doom scroll. Yeah. 100%. 100%. If you did ever have the chance to like to put your piston in Greta Thunberg's like shame cave, like make sure you use petroleum-based lube just to make her really mad. because it's more fun when they're mad. Anyway, Conor McGregor speaks on camera for the first time since his loss to Max Holloway. We'll be back in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. This man right here, crippling depression right now. Like, has to be in crippling depression. This man got done like fucking Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey, and like, he didn't even have a reason to, because he doesn't have an acting career. Gina Carano got taken down by Ronda Rousey and tapped out because in less than a second she was like, oh yeah, I forgot. I have an acting career again now, so I don't want to get fucked up and be out of commission for months because my arm's fucking broken. So yeah, I'm tapping out. This dude literally just blew out his leg. Just went in and blew it out. What did McGregor say? I don't know. What did he say? Let's pull out my $30th headphones from Walmart and take a listen. All right, let's see here. Web. Let's do this. Maybe this one.
Let's go. Happy birthday to the mic.
Happy birthday.
We'll be back.
And it matches your outfit, you.
We'll be back. Come on.
So okay.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Crippling depression.
We'll be back. Let's go. Let's go. I know.
Hiya!
Yeah.
We're dead! We're dead! We're crucified, but we're dead! Stop it!
Probably more I'll be back bullshit. Hey, you were right. Yeah. Connor needs to take the fucking hit. It's over. It's over, boys. The mind is willing, but the body is just not there anymore. Drunk 3PO says we won. The House has passed legislation to make daylight savings time permanent nationwide. Yeah, I saw that. I could not care less. Like, okay, cool. There's some dudes who are against this. They're like, well, I'm an early riser and I like to get up and work out and blah, blah. Who gives a fuck? He's like, oh, there's correlations between energy. These are the same people, by the way, who are like weed is of the devil. But they're against like getting rid of daylight savings time. I don't know. But the thing is, like, daylight savings time was originally for like farmers. And there's like, I don't know, 6 of those left in America. So the rest are just Ponderosa giant like corporate farms. He has, the young kids would say, generational loss of aura. I guess the fucking kids say that. I would say he's fucking munted. I have not supported McNugget since he punched that old man. Yeah, here's the thing, JV. It's called cocaine. It's a hell of a drug. And he's clearly on it, or at least used to be. I think Connor strikes me as the kind of guy right now who used to be a massive drug addict and then got clean. And it's that scene from Family Guy, right? Where Stewie is the bodybuilder who's like, I used to be like really messed up on drugs, and now with my like keys to success, let me tell you about him, blah, blah, blah. And Peter's just like, hey, you want some drugs? And he's just like, please, God, that's the only thing I want. It feels like that. The female main character is totally the canon choice, the box art. I mean, yeah, but here's the thing. They start with this, and then they try to make like her more presented in the game, right? And then later on when you play Valhalla, Cassandra is the version of the character that shows up in the cameo of like Valhalla. She makes a cameo in Valhalla, but it's Cassandra, not Alexios. So that's the canon version. And Cyberpunk, Cyberpunk is Cyberpunk, I will continue to always say it. Cyberpunk is the best Far Cry game with a dialogue mechanic that we have ever gotten. Because that's what it is. It is a Far Cry game with dialogue mechanics. Connor is that homeless that dude that wants to keep telling you stories of his past greatness. Yeah, definitely big Cowboys energy. What the fuck is this? Police body cam? Some dude laughing at people. I don't know. That man's shirtless. All right. Every Hunger Games movie is now on Netflix. Yeah, Hey, did you guys know that Hunger Games is coming out with a new movie? Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping? Like, it's apparently a big thing. And it's like the last movie that there's a book written about for them to adapt. And they're not going to make any more that's not adapted from the books. And the lady that wrote them, like, she wrote her books like 10, 15 years apart. And she's not going to write more until, like, there's even more of a gap. So, like, this is it for their, like, people who are really into this, their content. And my wife thinks it's going to be, like, a massive thing. And I know 100% it's not. It's really not. Never seen Hunger Games. Honestly, the first Hunger Games, the first, I want to say, like, maybe 2-3 Hunger Games films are good. I don't even remember how many there are. I want to say like 6. But the like first 2-3 are good. The rest are kind of dog shit, and you know how they're going to like end. You know how they're going to work out. Like, especially, even if you don't read the books, you can read the writing on the wall. Like, it's not hard to figure out. And then I never saw like Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the Rachel Zegler one. And that's all about... So the villain in the movie is this guy called President Snow. And like Songbirds and Snakes is about like his rise to power as like a 20-something-year-old. And the Sunrise on the Reaping is like the story of the last guy from like her area to like be selected for the Hunger Games. And like his story as like a younger guy. And that's like the last of it that's going to be made. Keanu should have made the movie Cyberpunk. I mean, they could make. I think they're making a Cyberpunk movie or series or something like that. I know Edge Runners is a thing, which I did see Edge Runners, the anime. It's actually really good. I'm excited to see what the second series of the anime is going to be, because that's coming out soon. Story-wise, Hunger Games is basically like a dystopian future where the United States is now called like Pan Am, and it's like pretty much the entire world was destroyed in like some sort of wave of like pestilence and disease and like famine. And they like almost all of humanity was wiped out, and now they live under a dictatorship, and they have different zones, different districts, and each district is responsible for different kinds of industries. And every year, to honor the like horrific like nature of their past and like what it was like during the chaos of those times, they have what's called the Hunger Games, where like one child or two children from each district are chosen to compete in basically a fight to the death. And the games get like more elaborate as time goes on. What I actually love is steampunk. Do you know any good steampunk movies look, other than like, I guess BioShock, or I hear Dishonor is like pretty good if you're again into that sort of BioShock like realm. Strategy game wise, or like, you know, like city builder wise, there's Frostpunk, which is kind of steampunk, but like in terms of movies, stuff like that, I don't really know any. That's the thing, is like steampunk is actually very popular in writing, but there's not been a lot of like very popular adaptations of like movies or television. And I'm really honestly surprised that, and I think it's because like there's not as much mainstream popular content based around steampunk. And maybe that's why, in terms of like novels and like comics or anything made like that, maybe that's why. But I'm really surprised that that hasn't been mined more for content from Hollywood, because that's all that Hollywood does right now. Is Hollywood mines different like genres and like existing IPs for content. That's all they do. That's all they know how to. They can't make original shit anymore. And that's all they've really done since the 90s. Like the 90s were the last era where we got original films. But even then they were heavily adapting novels like Jurassic Park, right? And they adopted novels, and you can even argue that Hollywood was doing this back in like all the way back in the fucking 30s and 40s, because they were adapting plays and they were adapting novels then too, and they were adapting like musicals and stuff like that, stage plays, into film. And it was not all original ideas, even going back to then. Wild Wild West. See, I was going to say Wild Wild West, but like, first off, Wild Wild West is not typically considered good. I like it. I don't think it's a great movie, but I like it as a movie. It's entertaining to me. But like, it has steampunk elements in it, for sure. But I wouldn't say that it's like a great presentation of what steampunk could or should be. But I guess Unks could also say that about the fucking Masters of the Universe movie, which I really liked. But the only people that went to go see it were apparently like dudes who were fans of the show in the 80s, who want like 80s like dark fantasy style like film with the lore like treated with the same reverence as like Tolkien lore. And you're not going to get that. Steampunk is my number one interest of genre. I mean, no one makes enough material like horror, for example. Yeah, I mean, it like I said, it's weird that they haven't mined that for content more. You like He-Man? I mean, I don't know if you're talking specifically about just the like IP or the movie. I think both are good. It's just I never grew up watching He-Man because it was before my time, and it was never something like Ninja Turtles that I was into, even though it was before my time. So it'll be Ian So4 says here it'll be to score the winning goal for Argentina. Tom Cruise is set to make a special appearance at the FIFA World Cup. He's probably doing some fucking promotion for Digger, is what he's doing. Because that's down the pipeline movie-wise. Digger. Is anybody excited for that? The Oscar bait film for fucking Tom Cruise? Oh no. Now we got fucking Peptide Frazier now. This is going to be a thing. We're just getting over Costanza. And now we got... Oh, man. Is it worth seeing? The He-Man movie? I think so. I think it should have been seen in theaters. It's not probably in theaters anymore. Or if it is, it's a very select few. Because it did not make its money back at all. Didn't even come close. It's like historically one of the worst plots. I would put He-Man in the same category as something like Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves that came out recently. It's like 2021, 2022. Where like it was not a financial success, but there's no messaging in it. It has a good, clear, like moral story to it and good dynamic, and the characters all well-rounded and add things to the plot. And was just kind of a fun movie, even though it failed at the box office. Also, like things like in the 80s, like Clue. Like Clue was really good, but it was a box office failure. I think partially because it came out in 1985 when like everything major in movies in the 80s came out in 1985. Snarky J did some cosplays. It's always weird because like I think like Snarky J is black. So like that's kind of wild. Optimus Prime. Okay. Sexy Optimus Prime. I was not ready for that. Olive Garden is bringing back its never-ending pasta for the first time in 6 years. The $100 pass gives customers unlimited pasta dishes for 13 weeks with no limit on visits. So, it's a lot of fucking pasta. I don't know if I'm not Italian at all. I'm not Italian enough to do that. PSA, there's only one console where you could play 2 of the biggest games of the year. It's fucking the Red Dragon. This dude is so much of a Sony pony. Like, he plays, like, he posts like he's a 12-year-old boy. Like, it's honestly kind of sad. You never saw D&D? You should. The Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie is actually pretty fun. I'm not on cocaine. I'm not on my Ricada arc. It's just my nose is itchy. My nose gets itchy during streams sometimes. I don't know why. Yo, shout out Jiggle Physics. Fucking Olympic. They're trying to take Winter Olympics pogs away from us. Yeah, if you didn't know, like, there's new broadcasting guidelines for women's athletics have been released to crack down on camera angles and slow motion replays that sexualize athletes. The guidelines, yeah, so like they're saying like no booty shots and things like that. So like, what's the fucking point of watching then? What's the fucking point of watching? Do you want to cut the Olympics like viewership even more? Also, how are you supposed to do that in like gymnastics? Like, how are you supposed to do that in gymnastics? I don't know. And hold on, my wife is calling for me, so something serious must be happening, because that would not be happening right now if it was not serious. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Fun fact, it was not anything important. She thought I was done streaming a while ago, but I was not. So, yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the broadcasting. Like, fucking, they're trying to take the booty shots away from us. It's not good. It's not good, boys. It's not good. Fucking wrestling. I haven't watched wrestling since in years, so I would be a nobody that. Shia LaBeouf he's fucking crazy, man. He's a fucking crazy guy. Cannons. Yeah, really, dude, Schwarber's wife has fucking massive boobs. I don't know why. If they take away women's volleyball, yeah, for real. JV, what are you talking about? No toilets? Well, yeah, they're medieval castles. They didn't they shat into pots, and then they dumped those pots outside. Fun fact: in Ireland, up until I want to say a couple decades ago, there was still a law. It might actually still be on the books, but there was a law saying that if you dump a chamber pot outside your window, you had to yell, "Look out below," before you did it, so you didn't dump your shit on somebody.
Hiya!
Me bamba.
So yeah, that was the thing. Before outhouses, before negative pressure flushing, before any of that. It's kind of what. That's why I always say, by the way, everybody's all like, "Oh, would you rather live in, what time period would you like to live in if you could live in another period before now?" And I always say bare minimum, the 18, after the 18, not, or after the 19, knots. So because I think Thomas Crapper develops the common used negative flush system. By the way, that's why we call it the crapper, where crap comes from. But he perfects the draw off flush system in the early 19 noughts. So toilets become popular in the 19 teens, and that's really the only time I would ever want to live in. That's kind of my cutoff. I would prefer actually to live in a period that had air conditioning. Or as Europeans like to call it, the future.
Exposed, 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 exposed. You're exposed. You're exposed. You are exposed.
Female athletes are too masculine? Some of them. If it's what's her name? Ilona, whatever the fuck her name is, who is square jawed as shit. Yeah. But some female athletes, and it depends on what athletes are we talking about here. Because track stars are a lot different from female gymnasts or female wrestlers, stuff like that. So swimmers, I mean, female swimmers, they can hold their breath a long time. I mean, come on, come on, boys. Come on, that's pretty good. People really want to live. People really want to live before antibiotics and vaccines. Yeah, I mean that's kind of wild, right? Why would you want to do that? Get polio. Who wants to fucking die from polio? That's gay. We really used to get actual themes and moral messaging in movies with great stories, songs, and characters. Now we just get you were great all along slop. And same to think that this is what children movies used to be. Oh, fucking. So, this song is a masterpiece. If Count Frollo's song in Hellfire, I think is what it's called. It's like a 2-part song, actually. The first part is Heaven's Light, which is sang by Quasimodo, and then Hellfire, which is sang by Count Frollo. And literally the song is about like his lust and desire and how he hates himself and he hates her and how he wants to possess her and basically make her his like sex slave. And if he can't have her, then like he'll destroy her. And like that's what the song is about, while getting around like the Disney like family friendly censors. And it's an amazing song. And it's very rich and passionate and filled with emotion. And like it's done so well. It's one of my favorite Disney songs actually, as an adult. And honestly, Hunchback of Notre Dame as an adult is one of my favorite Disney films. Mostly because Hunchback of Notre Dame is not a kid's story. It's a fucking Victor Hugo novel. The same guy who wrote Les Miserables. Hunchback of Notre Dame is a dark drama about medieval France. Like, the fact that somebody saw this and thought, oh yeah, we can make a kids movie out of that, has always been kind of bewildering to me. But they did. Steam. JV's a little wild. He's taking it wild. He's living all natural. Gotta respect it, I guess. We all take our own risks, right? Microsoft users a Microsoft user has lost all of his digital belongings after having his account deleted by the tech giant. What did he do? That would be my first question. And also, if he didn't do anything wrong, then he should get his account back. Duh. It's kind of clear-cut story there. I'm not clicking on the article. You're not getting me, IGN. Fuck you, IGN. No, but really, look at this cocky teenage Latino coming to destroy your fragile ego, and look with it. First look at Alvin from the upcoming Alvin and the Chipmunks revival. The new theatrical film is set to hit theaters in 2028. Why? Why do we need this? Why? Who thought this was a good idea? Didn't the last one not make money? I feel like it didn't. I'm too lazy to look it up, but I feel like the last Alvin and the Chipmunks didn't. I do hate that Disney Princess filled the Grimm story. Princess Five, the Grimm stories. Yeah, the Grimm's fairy tales are super dark too if you actually read them. I don't know why they chose to go those routes. You're a molecular biologist. I'll believe you. I'll believe you for right now. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is tracking to open with over 200 million worldwide, the largest non-Batman opening of his career. I mean, here's the thing. Like I said, it'll make money probably, but I don't know if it's going to make the money that everyone thinks it's going to. Again, it's going to make enough money to be controversial, not enough money to like not be controversial. Everyone think that it's going to be a resounding success or failure. Man, everybody's channel is getting hit. I gotta be careful, man. I gotta be careful on this shit. They said the same thing about Moana, but I'm not sure Nolan fans will see it. I mean, here's the thing. Nolan fans are going to turn out for the movie. It's just with a thing as big and costly and as much expectations put on it as the Odyssey, normies have to turn out for it. And I just don't know if it has the same normie appeal out there. This must be from an unaired Star Trek Hulk crossover episode when the crew finds David Banner on a deserted planet and Kirk hulks out to capture him. I guess is William Shatner trying to say that he's too shredded in this like adaptation of it? Like, I don't get it. I also hear that William Shatner, like his wife, actually does all his posting for him on social media. So I don't know. And even then, like Shatner is in his like 90s, so take everything he posts on X with a grain of salt. Is all what I have to say. Matilda the movie, San Francisco, here we come. Are they re-releasing Matilda, I guess? I don't know. Fucking Candace Owens on bullshit. I'm tired of Candace Owens, man. She's just... I don't... Like, you're just saying shit. You know, you're just saying shit. I heart Nolan skipping this one. I do not subscribe to that theory. I do not watch this. Humans make mistakes. This movie is like Snow White. I'll never ever. Yeah. Yeah. It should fail. I just don't think it's going to fail. They are indeed remaking Matilda. They're remaking Matilda. I either did not hear about that or forgot about that. And I don't know why you would do that. Why are we remaking niche films? Why are we remaking films that were popular at the time but had like weren't exactly box office like smash box office hits? Like we're trying to capitalize off of like nostalgia and like cult following, like cult classic following nostalgia. I don't really get it. Like Hollywood is like trying to capitalize off of the fact that like you watch movies on TNT as a kid that were not popular in the box office, but like channels like TNT and USA could get that shit on the cheap. And so you grew up referencing that in pop culture online. And then Hollywood saw that and was like, oh, let's remake this. That was a box office failure, but everybody remembers it pop culture wise. Like that's the like weird shifted pipeline that seems to be happening right now. Why can't Superman just focus on Superman? Yeah, I know. I don't know why James Gunn just, he doesn't like Superman, man. Like he just doesn't. He doesn't want to make Superman. He's the wrong guy. Yeah, and Mike says it. He doesn't like Superman. He's honestly not fit to run an entire franchise is what the problem is. He is a one type of movie director. That's it. And he could have been great doing that. It's just... Mel Brooks is 100 and filming Spaceballs. Yeah, I honestly don't know what the Spaceballs sequel movie is going to be like. I know History of the World Part 2 came out, and I know how that was received. So I'm not holding a lot of hope for Spaceballs. Also, I don't know why he switched the title to Spaceballs The New One from Spaceballs The Quest for More Money, because that was way funnier of a title. Steve Buscemi joins the Far Cry. I heard about this. I don't know how to feel about this. It's a Far Cry series starring the literally Mac from fucking what was it called? Always Sunny. And now they're adding Steve Buscemi to it, and the director has basically said that he doesn't think that story in video games is important and that gamers care about story in video games. So I don't really know how to feel about this. It doesn't really add anything. add any confidence to me. My favorite movie is 1939 Wuthering Heights. Never seen it. I know that it's based off of Emily Bronte novel, which are typically like more darker garden party novels of like the 1800s. So I've never seen it. My wife keeps wanting me to watch the modern one that just came out with fucking Margot Robbie. And I keep finding ways to delay it, but eventually I'm going to have to watch it. A 90s movie based on a play directed by Danny DeVito. I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it why they think that that's a good idea. They're just so creatively bankrupt, man. And they know that they can't all do video games and like manga and anime. And here's the thing. Netflix, if you haven't noticed, is trying to corner the market on like popular manga and anime like adaptations, and they're going to absolutely fuck it. They're going to absolutely destroy it for the rest of the market because they don't have the money and they don't have the resources to actually do the shows they want to do. Even as big and as wealthy as they are, they don't have the money to do it. The only streamer that could do those adaptations is Amazon, just because Amazon has such ungodly amount of money that they literally have spent like almost $2 billion on Rings of Power, and it took them spending almost $2 billion on Rings of Power to go like, maybe we're spending too much money on Rings of Power. They literally took hundreds of millions of dollars in loss in the Masters of the Universe movie and said, doesn't fucking matter. Theater is just an advertisement platform for our streaming service. We're planning a whole universe around He-Man and the Masters of the Universe franchise. And we're going to put out more movies and TV shows of this. So they don't care. And it makes sense because those motherfuckers have more money than God. They could do adaptations of things like Solo Leveling. That's getting an adaptation from Netflix. How the fuck do you do an adaptation of Solo Leveling? Like physically, how do you do it? With some of the fights that happen in that show. I don't know how. Without just a massive ballooning budget. And like a ton of production, like years of production time. It's impossible. And they're doing like My Hero. Netflix is trying to do My Hero Academia, which that's going to be fucked as well. It's going to be CW level looking like shit. That's what we're going to get. Because you haven't noticed, One Piece is good. Not great. It's good based upon the narrative and the characterization, the acting in the show. It's not good based upon the effects and the makeup and the actual designs, how the characters look and all that. Those are fairly CW-ish. And it's quite clear they try to cut corners on the budget by not using the powers a lot. But they're going to try to do those series, and they're going to be very CW-like and fail. And there's not going to be a lot of mainstream manga and like anime to draw upon that can get new iterations really quick. And you're going to end up with more Cowboy Bebop live adaptations than One Piece adaptations. And it's sad because it's basically going to mean that like anime is not going to get any live adaptations because they're going to ruin it for everybody. Unless you're a major anime fan, you're the type that's like, I don't want it to become popular. I want it to remain niche and not touched by Westerners. Then you probably will enjoy that fact. Thank you for answering. Hey, man, like, yeah, of course. I'm never going to interact with the chat. Like, I'm never going to be that guy. I have this thing called a conscience. I feel bad when, like, people are talking to me and I'm just ignoring them. All Wuthering Heights movies suck after 1939. I mean, probably. Watch the original of Laurence Olivier. Oh, Laurence Olivier? Yeah, it's really pretty good. Number one movie. Sandwich time. Getting something to eat? Oh, okay. But yeah. I don't know, like, I just don't think that there's certain animes that you could do with a decent budget that are fairly mainstream within the anime world as a live action adaptation, and it could work if you adapted them like almost one for one and did homage to the source material. Spy Family. Spy Family is a fucking layup of an anime adaptation that you could do. It's fairly family friendly. It's got action. It's got comedy. It's got a family element to it. It's cute, but it's not over the line. It's the daughter is like cutesy but not annoying. Like it's a fun little anime. And you could definitely adapt that into live action easily. But they're not going to do that. But yeah. Oh man. Let's go a little bit long. Danny Trejo is headed to Comic-Con to promote his upcoming comic book series, Year of the Devil. He's got a comic book series. Oh, what is this? This art style is very Ripaverse here. I want nothing more than to power wash Asmund. Dude, K-Man is fucked up. This dude's fucked up. Asmongold gives advice to video game devs. If OnlyFans girls won't cosplay as your character, then she's... I mean, he's not wrong. Oh yeah, the tongue thing. I saw that. Let's go back up to the top. 105. Damn, Ram Man is still coming after the quartering. Quartering must have said some shit like recently. Yeah, I'm not playing that shit. It's got foreign words on it. I don't trust it. Shames. Black Lagoon has been removed from Crunchyroll following the expiration of its streaming license. The removal is part of Crunchyroll's ongoing catalog rotation. Similar removals have recently affected classics like Fate, Prisma. Yeah. This is something I don't like, is that like Crunchyroll does this. Then you got to go to like... But here's the thing. When Crunchyroll does this, it does end up in places like Hulu and such. Because I know, like... Dude. Digimon Adventure, like... 2 is like so difficult to like find. It's on Hulu, but it's like it's labeled it's labeled as like Digimon Adventure 2, like the second season, but it's not actually the second season. It's weird. So you gotta like search through it. I don't know. And then like Dragon Ball through Crunchyroll was on Amazon, but Amazon, they only had certain episodes of the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z were only in like Japanese. So like you had to go specifically through Crunchyroll to get Dragon Ball, like in English, in the English dub. Those damn comics, yeah. I don't think this is interesting enough to talk about. Narod still milking that Taco Bell shit. But yeah, I think that's it. We've doom scrolled enough for tonight. Covered a lot of subjects. I gotta look into what this quartering stuff is about, because I wonder if Kino Casino is live tonight. I have to take a look. Dude, it's almost 1 a.m. already? Fuck, dude. Fuck. Just. Fuck! I didn't know that. Anyway. This is going to be the end of it. Hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Appreciate JV1976. First time he was here. Welcome in. And Jack of all casuals, as usual, in the chat. You guys are really help with the show, all that, keeping things lively. And appreciate everybody who West Coast supremacy. Brother. California, Oregon, like Washington, like West Coast. I think we need to chill out with that. But really appreciate you guys. You guys make this whole thing go around. We'll be back tomorrow. More videos. I might stream games tomorrow. Maybe. I know I always fucking say that and then I end up not doing it. But I might stream games tomorrow. I'm going to try to bring back the gaming. I don't know if I'll do one this week, but I'm going to try to bring back the gaming streams on Thursday again. I stopped doing those because my wife was late term pregnant and like going through it. And we were getting ready for baby and everything. I just needed the extra time. I needed that extra time to do video stuff because the time that I used to do video stuff was being taken up by baby time. So there you go. But yeah, Princess Bova will say no to gaming. Fun thing is that she's a pretty well behaved baby. She only really cries when like she's hungry and like or really needs something, like needs change or something. She doesn't cry for no reason. She's a well behaved baby. Yeah, so probably bring back the gaming streams soon, maybe next week. I might do a gaming stream this week, but it might be Thursday, might be a different day. I don't really know. But there'll be more content, more videos, more shorts, things like that coming out tomorrow and the days following. And yeah, I will talk to you guys again later. Hope you have a good night. Again, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the hype button on the VOD, which always helps the algorithm. Really appreciate you guys. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you on the next one.